Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. This is John and Jenna with Flippin' Ain't Easy. And check your calendar. It is Thursday. And of course, if you're here, you already know. But the folks that didn't make it, I'm sure they just didn't get the memo, didn't watch my last video, or didn't hear us on the last live that we're just not going to make a Friday live today or this week because we're going to be gone. She's going to her concert this weekend. And it turns out that my trip to California is going to be a run-in with death, maybe. I don't know.
What?
Well, I'm a bit morbid on that. In that I'm going to attempt to play 54 holes of
self-sabotage.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what it's going to do to me, but play 54 holes of golf in 100
Not
degree
in
weather.
one day.
No, within a 36-hour period. So early Saturday morning, back at it again for another 18 on Saturday afternoon, and then Sunday morning we're playing another 18. So we'll see. If I look like I'm torn up on Monday, you guys know what happened, okay? So that's kind of what's happening here. But you know what? Just being able to take a moment, I think, is important, just to get away from things. And of course, I'm not going to take the time off. I'm still going to have my phone, still going to be launching listings, still going to be answering customer questions and things like that. But don't put yourself in a position with this business where all you do is this business, because at some point you're going to hit a wall, and you just have to have something to look forward to. So,
and I've been looking forward to this.
Yeah,
since January.
Yeah, she's doing all these shirts. She's bleaching shirts. She's taking perfectly good T-shirts and cutting like a neck into them, and she's like cutting
It's
like.
called distressing.
It made me distressed that you're just ruining a pretty good T-shirt, but she's making shirts for herself and her sisters so they can. I don't know.
Represent.
What are you trying to represent?
Morgan Wallen.
Looks like, I don't know. You should have had the shirts and brought them in and shown them off. No, that's what I'm saying.
No, I don't know that anybody follows me on Instagram, but there'll be pictures.
Well, if you're here with us today, great. You got the memo. Please be sure to contribute to the conversation. Of course. It's funny. I hope that's the mail lady, but if not, then we're going to have to make a trip to the post office. But nonetheless, if you're with us here watching live, contribute to the conversation by commenting, asking your questions, answering other people's questions. This community is one where we all just kind of get together 2 times a week and try to help each other out. Apologize for my dogs. They're always going to bark when someone comes to the door. That's just the way it is. Actually, my dog, because my other one doesn't bark. If you're not with us today, you're watching after the fact, please go ahead and comment down below. Maybe you have an answer to someone's question that we weren't able to answer. But no matter how you're watching with us today, hit the like button, guys. It helps drive the program outside to other people who may not even know about this channel. There's a lot of people out there who just don't know about this channel. Today, I wanted to talk to you guys in general about INADs, and I don't want to get into down you can go so many directions with INADs. It's item not as described. But I think as sellers, we accept, and we should accept the INAD, of course, take the return. We get kind of mad about it. We kind of get ticked off about it. And then we just refund the money, we let it go, and that's the end of it. But it's not the end of it. And I think a lot of times, you get an INAD and it's not a fair one. You don't agree with it. And you just kind of let it go. And if you don't agree with it, you need to be reporting the buyer. And there's a way to report the buyer after you process a refund, after you process a return. Let's say they returned everything in order. Maybe, okay, they're due a full refund. There's no way to, or no reason to go in and deduct money from the return because they sent everything back as it was. You're not supposed to be deducting for return labels. So let's say you're giving them a full refund, but you don't agree that they got out of paying for the return label because they decided that they were going to call it an INAD when maybe it didn't fit, or maybe they didn't like it, but they didn't want to pay for the return label. And they used a shoddy excuse and flat out lied about what was wrong with the item. And that happens all the time. But you guys aren't aware that by virtue of them selecting item not as described as the reason for the return, it is now counting against your return ratio. And what you want to do, if you want to dispute that, there's a button that says report buyer, and then you go in and put buyer misused returns. And that will get sent to the dispute team. And now, based on the conversation I had with a US rep on eBay a few days ago, just asking about, return ratios and, why some are higher than others and all that noise, and why I have like a 5-point-something% return ratio. This is high, very high, but it's not being counted against me. And I'll tell you about that here in a second. And she said, well, you could dispute a lot of these. INADs that are false ones, and simply just go and report the buyer. So that's what I went in and did. And it's supposed to help your ratio, because they're removing these returns from the ratio. They're counting, the item doesn't fit, or the ones, the buyer remorse ones. They're not counting that against your return ratio. They just count the ones that are item not as described, I believe, damaged item. I believe there's one other one, that type of thing. So help yourself, dispute. Now, if it's legitimate, maybe you sent the wrong color, maybe you sent the wrong size, maybe you just flat out screwed up, then, eat it and move on. But I really don't think I want to eat and have high ratios, because what happens is, if you get to be too high in a certain category for returns, and you have to have at least 10 returns in a specific category, that's quite a bit if you sell a lot of different things. But if you're selling in a niche, it's certainly possible to hit. Well, you're going to be hitting 6% additional final value fees. It's almost like promoting at additional 6%. You don't want to do that for that category. So that's just what I wanted to kind of pass on to you guys. And you can also go in after the fact under help and contact, and I believe you can type in report buyer, and it'll give you the option to go and click a button that says report the buyer, and then do the same thing. And then you just click buyer misused returns and cite your case, guys. State what happened and why you feel like this should be removed as a defect on your returns. So that's the subject material of today. No long soapbox for me, but maybe that'll get the discussion started here a little bit. We have Biscuit Butt in the house. So thanks for being here, Archie. Hit the like button now, or John will mispronounce every name today.
It's just a common
That's
thing.
Right. I try. It's not that I'm giving you no effort here. Kim Sharp says, hi, everyone. Had to check my calendar and make sure it wasn't Friday. It's not Friday. It feels like a Friday, though.
It feels like a Friday.
But then again, I don't know. I got to tell you something I'm thinking about here. I listed about $500 some odd dollars worth of stuff that I created listings for last night. Actually, what it is, I have a new set of golf clubs. I'm selling my older set, and it turns out it's about $500 something worth of clubs. And I created the listings last night, and I said, well, just go ahead and launch them. Launch them in the morning, schedule them to run a Thursday morning, that kind of thing. And I wanted to see, because the last couple times I've run scheduled listings, I didn't have very good sales days. And of course, it's probably a coincidence, but you just never know. Sometimes things with eBay get broken in ways that maybe we never thought of. So today, really, really bad sales. It's not in character with what I've been doing. So I'm almost thinking that I just need to, after this live stream, I'm going to get some more stuff listed and see if that corrects itself. But I'm more concerned about this weekend, because it's either have drafts or schedule them to run. And I'm thinking at this point, I'm just going to have those listings in my bank, and I'm going to just run them as if I was here, and see what happens, and not use my schedule feature. But want to know what you guys think. You guys use the schedule feature. Have you noticed any kind of lull in sales from simply just using it. It's just really weird. So again, there's probably nothing to what I'm saying here, but it's just something that I tend to try to notice things as they happen and make note of, different things, because the schedule feature with your draft bank is still a fairly new thing. And anything eBay seems to implement these days doesn't always roll out properly. And that's why I'm kind of in tune with it. So let me know down below if you've had any success or failures with using that schedule feature. PTS Treasure says, hi, everyone. Thanks for being here. That Stranger's here. Says hello. Mike Camparelli says, hi, John and Jenna and fellow flippers. How is everyone today?
We're hot.
It's hot out here.
It's so hot.
I got to tell you, we have this AC unit out there, and it's like not even on. I mean, I guess it's helping a little bit, but I think it does a little bit, but you have to stand right up next to it.
You gotta stand right in front of it and literally like hold your shirt open.
It's pretty sad.
It's a sad situation.
So it's really tough to stay out there long periods of time to get stuff done. So I'm generally just trying to get many photos as I can done out there and then bring it in. Where we used to live, I had a makeshift area set up, a secondary photo booth in an area where we kept our stuff. So we had an outside area for the larger items and the smaller items inside. So you never had to deal with the heat. Don't quite have the same real estate setup that we have at the other place. So we're finding out now why I created that secondary photo booth to begin with, because it is just tough to really stay focused when he's like, oh, I got to go take more photos out in that hot garage. So that's our problem. I'm sure that there's many of you that have problems, but we continue to churn, and sales have been, other than today, sales have been pretty good. That's for sure. Mike says, hey, stranger, how you doing? Thinking of talking about that stranger, but you never know. Kevin Hawthorne's in the house from Lakeland, Florida. Thanks for being here, Kevin. Maya's here with us, says, hey, everyone. Had slow sales day yesterday as I was busy and out of town today, but I've had good sales so far today. I sold 2 items to a buyer on Depop this morning. And that is very, very cool. I don't know about Depop. I do know about the other sites. We're going to start, at least for the other account, getting more stuff over cross-posted. We took a lot of stuff down a couple months ago, and we just really didn't get stuff relisted or reposted. We're actually starting to go through a lot of our inventory right now and get rid of the things that are under. Heck, that other account, we had some items under $10, right?
Under $5.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
That's what's the point?
I mean, at that point, is it really worth your time?
No,
I mean,
it's not.
And I don't even know why we had that. I moved a lot of the stuff, and I call it crap, from the main account over to the secondary account. And, the argument is, why do you even bother? You're making about $1,000 a month in sales in that other account as compared to $13,000+ in sales on the main account. But I would really hesitate to do a lot of experiments on the eBay side that I do on my main account. I don't even know if I want to tinker with stuff on my main account and screw it up. Well, things aren't going so well on the other account. So that would be the account I use when I'm doing like little experiments for the channel, that type of thing. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff on that account that really just needs to go yard sale or whatever.
I mean, some of it is
not even a yard sale.
No, some of it is just the only good place for it is the trash.
I cringe when I listen to other programs, and I cringe when I hear people saying, yeah, I came across these bracelets, and they wanted $1 for them. They're talking just generic bracelets, even if they have the tags on them or whatever. And my mind, they're thinking, yeah, just $1. But no, it's not just $1. It's $1 times how many of those things you bought. And then my mind goes, what are you trying to make? And it's kind of the same mindset that I have. And many of you guys aren't going to get this analogy, but when I'm playing poker cards and someone makes a big bet and I call with hardly nothing, it's like, why are you putting that money out there? What are you trying to make here? What are you trying to make? As far as spending all that money, say you spend $20 on 30 bracelets, and you think you get a deal, and you're only getting $3 or $4 or $5 a piece, maybe even 10, but those items are going to sit there forever. what are you trying to do? That $20, I would rather take that $20, put it in something that's going to flip me 100 somewhat quickly. And I think whatever desperation we had last year, and we're still carrying over that inventory, I think it's just time to let it go.
Let it go.
Let it go.
It go.
Let it go. And that's the thing we're working on right now. And then again, I think a lot of the crap that you have in your store holds down your sell-through rate, and your lower sell-through rate will hurt you. I think it's part of your account health. It's certainly something that I want to kind of cover as we get going. And on that topic, there's some well-meant. I think I found a well-meant video from a very small YouTuber who had everything that seemed to be right until they started saying, well, if you have 6 items sold and there's 200 that were listed in 90 days, that's a 200% sell-through. They actually did the math way bad on their video. I'm like, wait, you can never have a 200% sell-through rate. That's like saying I've got one item that I'm going to, I guess I'll break it in half. And I guess if you're parting something out, you can have a higher sell-through rate on that one item. But generally speaking, you're going to find that sell-through rates are going to be on the low numbered side. Like for instance, there's some stores that do well that do over 5%. I'm doing at 2.4%, but my number's rising. But I think it could be a lot better if I get rid of a lot of the crap that's just being counted against.
Taking up listing space.
It's the space
and
too.
It's taking up space in the garage that we don't have.
Yeah.
And I'd rather spend time, going through the items that are selling, even though I don't like to deal with the big, bulky things. I would rather do, put my time into something that's going to make more money.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm not putting my time into something that's going to sell for $5, $10, maybe $15 and having to do more of those versus one item that's going to get me $100, let's say. I just don't see that. I need to put my time and effort into better places.
Yeah. And there's nothing better than listing a few items to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's like we list, literally, guys, I'm listing 5 to 10, sometimes on a really good day, maybe up to 15 items in a day. And that's it. Okay. And generally, by the time I even get the stuff that I'm buying, I have a listing created for it. I just have to take pictures. Of course, before I take pictures, got to make sure the darn thing works. And then, I'm taking pictures, clean it up, because don't sell dirty items. It needs to be touched up, touch it up. Mm-hmm. And then I put everything back in the package, get it ready to ship out so I can know the dimensions of the box, the weight of the box. And then I have a location. So I get all that information, and then I update the listing and launch it. That's kind of my routine. And you know what? I guess I can ramp up my operations even more. But that would really require me to have a lot more space for inventory. So I guess all this ties into, we're trying to get rid of the crap, the small crap, so that we can make room to ramp up the operations, if that makes sense. But I'm happy with the sales.
I'm still trying to clean and list all of those shoes from that garage sale from, when was that? I don't even know anymore.
Yeah.
So, there's some shoes in there that are, they're decent. They're, nothing to write home about. But I feel like it's almost like filler, just trying to fill it up.
But I'm almost at the point where you probably would want to just now, at this point, since we're starting to focus on getting rid of the stuff that's just not going to sell.
I almost feel like taking that tote and dumping it in the trash.
Not so much doing that yet, but going through and just selecting. So check out the sold comps for each of the pairs. And if you find that you have a good sell price and sell through rate, because ain't nothing worse than trying to sell an item that has sold one item in the last 90 days. That's like ridiculous. Have the 2 qualifications. If the item has like a 15 to 20 plus shipping ASP, and then it has a decent sell-through rate, multiple sales in the last 90, go ahead and list it. Mm-hmm. If it's just junk. Nobody's buying it. It's just such an old shoe, or the condition it's in just is not sellable. It's time to just start getting ready for a fall yard sale, I think. So that's kind of what we need to do.
That we get notification like when it's going to happen, because we didn't last time.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's probably October sometime. So that's what happened last year. Let's see. That stranger says, pretty good. I'll be better when my coffee's ready. I've got my coffee here.
I ran out of creamer today, so I have had no coffee today.
Mike just hit the like button and like clockwork got an $89 sale. That's
Woo!
nice.
Cha-ching!
That is very nice. Thrift and Flips here says, hey, everyone.
Hello.
Sandra's with us, says hi all. Dean Funderburk says hello everyone. Gravity Goods, Cameron says howdy. Where's Tommy B? I don't know. Maybe he thinks we're doing this on Friday.
Maybe he's napping.
I think some days work out better for others. So like maybe Thursday isn't a good day, but it's sort of our emergency day. So we have,
or maybe he's taking one of the kids to something.
Well, we have a couple options. We could either schedule for Thursday, or we can just not do it that weekend. And honestly, I like to stay. I think it gives us consistency with the audience, and just to have it on a Thursday. And it's not going to happen very often. It might happen like around Labor Day weekend. We might be going somewhere, and then that weekend of September 30th, we're certainly going to be.
No, it'll be the weekend before.
What's that? September 30th?
Yeah, it's September.
No, September 30th is when the.
I know, but that's so the Friday we're flying out. That day. Yeah,
so the 29th we'll reschedule it to the day before, but it's going to be some of those things that we'll give you heads up when it happens, kind of thing. We have Glenda Bavona says hi from sunny Florida.
Sunny Florida.
Christy says hi everyone from the Outer Banks, North Carolina.
Ooh, I love that.
Let's see. Kevin just started thundering over here in Lakeland, Florida.
Ooh.
I like that.
So do I. I can't wait for monsoon season.
We were supposed to have some last week, and it hit the Henderson side of Las Vegas.
Hit bad.
But
real
not
bad.
us.
Didn't get us.
We didn't get nothing.
It's crazy how the weather can be so different from one side of the city to the next.
Yeah. We have Sherry in the house. Thanks for being here, Sherry.
Bend, Oregon.
Biff says, do you think eBay will lose another million sellers this year, as they have done in the last 5 consecutive years? I think so.
Million? Wow.
Oh, yeah. They're losing a lot of people. There's millions upon millions.
No, I know. That's just such a big number.
But I'm not so worried about losing the sellers. I think, they're going to lose sellers because people are now this year they told us last year we're going to have the $600 threshold. At the last minute, they took it away and said, okay, we'll do it next year. But I don't see them continually kicking the can down the road. I think that there's people that are like, okay, I'm not going to chance it this year. They don't want to pay the taxes or whatever it is. And they're going to start leaving the platform because they just don't want to mess with it. Mm-hmm. But not only that, eBay is doing a fine job of squeezing out the small seller. The profit margins are already small enough for some people as it is. Let's say they go to a Goodwill. Let's say Goodwill is the only place that these people can source at. Goodwill's jacking up their prices, cutting into their margins. So, all right, this item I can buy for $5 at Goodwill. I could still make 15 out of it. But once eBay gets their little hands on it, that $15 starts to really shrink, and people start to wonder, is this really worth my time? And there's a lot of different factors involved, but I really think that unless eBay starts to advertise, in my opinion, to not just certain categories like they have been. I think the last advertisement I watched, it's like the 3rd time I've seen an eBay Motors advertisement.
Yeah, that's really all I see.
It's been years since I've seen and everything like, come and find anything you're looking for at eBay. I like those commercials because it tells people that, hey, I have this off the wall thing that I need or I'm looking for. And, you want the average person to think of eBay as the place they can find all, everything and anything. Yeah. And I think people, and that was the message they were given before many, many years ago, like 5 to 10 years ago. And now that message has gone away, and I'm thinking that there's people that are either oblivious to that, or there's people that just simply have forgotten it. And so the concern here is really that you have with the sellers, but for the average seller, I'd be worried about the loss of buyers. And how many people are eBay replacing that leave the platform as buyers? They have a bad experience, or they, for whatever reason, just leave and go to these other platforms to buy their items. So that concerns me. Kim Sharp says, got myself for hitting the like button. So awesome. Thanks for letting me know about that. Dean says, I received a very nasty message the other day from a buyer. The sad thing is there's absolutely no way to report this person. Yes, there is. So the steps you want to take is you want to go into your Seller Hub. Well, you don't even have to go into Seller Hub. You're on the PC. Click on Help and Contact. It says, how can we help you today? Type in Report Buyer. And then the first thing you'll see is a big blue button that says Report Buyer. And then it'll pop up all the transactions. You can select up to 90 days on the dropdown and find the transaction from the buyer. Of course, they had to have bought from you. Click on the one that comes up and hit continue. And then it'll say the transaction, the buyer's name, what it was that you sold. And it'll say buyer demanded something that was not offered in the listing. That was 1. Buyer made a false claim. That's 2. Buyer misused returns. That's 3. That's the one I was telling you guys about. And then buyer messaged me or retracted their bid with no intentions of buying my item. Now, of course, nasty message isn't quite covered there. I would select probably either the first one, and it does another drop down. Yeah, I would say probably select the first one or the last one. Used M2M messaging to threaten me and to send spam not related to my listing. And then put in, and it'll give you an opportunity, 2,000 characters, to say whatever you need to say. And that would be the way to do it. Now, of course, I think a lot of us sellers just firmly believe that what's the use? eBay ain't going to do anything to them anyway. But I've been told on a number of occasions that, you guys think that. It's because you don't get any follow-up on that. So you won't get an email from eBay saying, thanks to you and reporting this buyer, the buyer is removed from the platform, or buyer's been suspended 3 days. You'll never know that, but that's the only recourse we have. And, by putting it on record that, here they are coming back with a nasty message, you can kind of build a case if something bigger comes out of that, like maybe a chargeback or a negative you're trying to get removed, that type of thing. Mark Suddick says, hi, John and Jen. Do you have a contact number for eBay instead of having to go through the automated system? Now, and I do apologize to you, Mark. You know what's weird is I was looking at your email late last night, and I don't know what it was that distracted me that I just didn't I was actually typing the email to you, and I guess I didn't send it. It's probably stuck as a draft. He was
too busy watching golf videos.
No, I was there's something else, because I was in my email.
I'm teasing.
No, I was in my email on my phone, and I don't know what happened, but I put my phone down, and I just guess I didn't come back to answering your message. I don't have an actual phone number that I have on me. I do have one in my phone, but it was given to me. And I can tell you, I was sworn to absolute secrecy not to give the number out. And as much as I want to help each and every one of you guys get a hold of a U.S. rep, I just can't. I can't. This is the way I am. If someone asks me to, here's some information, can you please share it or not share it? I'm going to honor that. And I actually had somebody send me a message saying, hey, I've got this exec's email and his position and his name. Here, I'm going to share it with you, but, please do not share it with other people. I said, of course not. Of course, I'm not going to share that. And it sucks. I know it sucks to have, like I have the information. I can't give it to you.
So what can he do?
Well, what you can do is, first of all, when you call eBay, or actually you go on to eBay and you request the callback. Because you can't, other than having a dedicated phone number, you can't do anything. And I've done this before. even with this number, like when it's not working, you go in and you can either request a call back or you can go to chat. Now, when you get someone in chat, you simply have someone call me, okay, in the chat. And then it'll confirm and say, okay, we'll call you in 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, okay? Now, it sucks. You're going to get someone on the phone from one of those islands out there in the Pacific, and you're going to have to understand that they don't understand or care about your situation, and they're not given the means to do more than just the basics. So you're going to probably need to be immediately in the mode of, I need to speak to a supervisor, but let me speak to someone if it's a dispute about something, the dispute department. If it's something, you might be the trust and safety department, right? You can even maybe ask the rep, can you tell me what department specializes in this problem that I'm dealing with, okay? But I would say you're probably not going to get the answer you're looking for, even if it sounds right from the first rep you get, unless they're in the United States. And the reason is, those reps have more experience in the United States than you have a rep that is in, somewhere else that never sold on eBay before. Mm-hmm. And why I like speaking to US reps is because they have sold on eBay, but many of them sell on eBay and that type of thing. So I would love to be able to give you that information, to get someone on the phone directly. I'm true to my word. I can't give it out. And I honor the fact that you are like here with us every week, and I want nothing more than to give you the answer you need. But it's also important to me to hold to my word too. So I just can't. And I hope you're okay with that. Ed is with us. Thank you, Ed, for the super chat. Says, hey, John and Jenna, a lot happening. Can't join, but apologies.
Aww.
Well, you're here with us at heart, Ed. Thank you for being here. Hopefully one of the other mods will get rid of
okay.
Yeah, hopefully the other mods will get rid of the trolls while you're gone.
Oh, they will.
But yeah, Mark, you know what? Let's brainstorm your problem together, though. If you want to send me an email at flippingainteasy2020@gmail.com, we could try to figure it out, and even if that means.
And I'll make sure that he gets to it.
Yeah. Because I want to make sure you're helped. I don't want you to feel like, geez, this guy's trying to help people, but he's not willing to help me. So like to help whenever I can. Sylvia Hunt says, hi, everyone. Thanks for being here, Sylvia. Ping G says, hi, John and Jenna, and everyone in the chat. Thanks for being here, Ping.
Hello.
Great to see you. And then we have Jerry says, hi, everyone. Next week, we are to have temps in the upper 90s. We've enjoyed temps in the 80s.
I would give anything for 90s.
What is it like to get
Okay,
90s?
so scenario. It's been, I'm looking at the temperature, and this weekend it's supposed to be 117 here in Vegas. And my sister sends me a message showing me a picture of what it's going to be in California this weekend. And it says, what did it say? 85 to 90.
Oh, wow.
I was like, I'll take it.
Is that what it's supposed to be out there?
I said, I will take that happily.
That's LA,
and
though, right?
My other sister, yeah.
Okay.
And my other sister says, oh, hell, that's too hot. And I said, no, it's not. I said, you want to know what's hot? So I sent her a screenshot of our weather that's going to be 117 this weekend. And she's all, oh, hell no.
That's a 30-degree swing.
And she's all, okay, I'll be grateful for that weather. And I said, and then my other sister came back with, and at night, it's only going to be 70. And she's also, you might want to bring a jacket. And I'm like, 70? Oh my. It's going to be such a relief. I cannot wait.
Yeah, it's going to be nicer weather. I think Orange County, LA area is always
it's always cooler.
But it kind of stinks. I had an opportunity to get tickets like behind third base for the Angels game for free, but it's a 1:00 game, and I will be done playing golf till noon, and I'm going to be dead. Jen is like, "What are you trying to do to yourself?"
I said, "Can you just be content with playing 2 days of golf?" I mean, I would love to go to a game too, but I'm not going to just
free parking, free tickets.
I can't put myself through that.
I know. Taylor Exchange says, what's up, everyone? Thanks for being here, Taylor.
That?
Dean says, thoughts so too, but I couldn't report, so I just blocked this buyer. Yeah, block the buyer is always a good thing. Of course, if they haven't bought from you, then that's pretty much all you can do at that point anyway. Because with this tool, it's going to ask you for the transaction. So if it's an existing buyer, you can report them. Let's see. Duncan VR says, in 20 years, I never had any return. I'm glad I don't have to deal with the INADs. Daily sales here. My phone ka-ching is going off. Hit that like. Awesome.
Awesome.
I got to say, you know, I want to say it must be nice not to get returns, but I realize that it's part of the game with the type of things that I'm selling. I don't know what type of things that you sell, but I notice it's part of the different buyers that we deal with. If you are selling in, and I just say just as a generic term, collectibles, like we were selling those military patches, I have no problems at all.
Yeah.
I mean, none. I mean, to the point where I didn't even have instant payments set up, and I never had to cancel due to non-payment. Okay. But now you get over here selling these kind of things, a little of everything, and it's your Amazon buyer that you're dealing with.
Yeah, they're just different. It depends on what you're selling.
Yeah. Guy Guru says, hey, what's up, guys? Sales have been good and steady, knock on wood.
Woo woo.
Yeah. And
like that.
Yeah, it's just gonna be one of those things where we're just gonna have to figure out why today. I mean, seriously. Now I need to do my end item sell similar routine, which I'm gonna end up doing. I gotta get to my screen here. But literally there's nothing. It's like a cliff.
Hey, you got one that's eligible for an offer.
Yeah, one that's eligible for an offer, and I send them an offer, and it's just gonna fall on deaf ears. I don't know what's going on. I usually end up with I leave the computer and I come back with multiple offers, so I'll send them their offer here. But it's literally like I'm like taking a road trip on the Grand Canyon, and I just went off the cliff.
Hey, the day is not over. Okay.
No, it's not.
So let's get rid of the negativity.
No. It's not negativity. Reporting what's happening is not negative.
Okay, but it is really sad to see 0.00 for today.
It really does suck.
And a great numbers underneath.
Back-to-back $600 days.
Yeah.
Before this, so we're just gonna keep rolling. We can't control that. Ping G says, I love watching your videos, Sean. So Sean's got some videos that Ping loves to watch. Maya says, now in my listings, I put flaw in the title only on items with flaws because buyers don't read. I'm sure it kills my SEO, but I'm tired of getting returns from buyers who don't read.
Yeah.
Yeah. But on those buyers, see, that buyer is going to open up a return, right? And they're going to say item not as described. Now, you described everything you're supposed to describe, and you did it I like to do it in the item condition description and in the item description itself, because unfortunately, the way eBay has it on the mobile app, you have to actually go looking for the item description, and on the item condition, it does show it there without clicking into any further off of that screen. But they're going to claim that it's item not as described because they didn't do their job to read the listing, right? It's never the buyer's fault.
Right.
But eBay doesn't know. eBay doesn't know what really went down. They're going to allow the buyer to return it, make you eat the return, and that is going to count against your return ratio, but you got to fight it. So you handle the return, refund their money, but don't just let it go. Take 5 minutes. It's not even going to be that long. And report the buyer for misusing returns. Mm-hmm. And do that enough, and you're going to lower your return rate a little bit. Mm-hmm. Mike says, go to help and navigate to the automated chat, type in speak to agent. It will call you back usually in 1 to 2 minutes. Yeah. PNG says, if I had to guess, I would guess perhaps I've had less than 10 returns in 23 years of selling.
Wow.
So now, just so that I can kind of formulate my own hypothesis here, without having to do that, I'm curious what you guys sell. If those of you don't get a lot of returns, what do you sell? And, if you're getting a lot of returns, love to know what you sell. It'd be kind of a good idea I sell everything. So I kind of know that anything you can buy on Amazon, you're going to get returns for. If you find that it's an item that you probably can't get on Amazon, chances are you're not going to get many returns. That's just kind of what I'm thinking here. Maya says, Guide Guru, yeah, I put it at the front of the title, hoping there's no way to miss it so that we'll see. But you're right. So many cancellations returns lately, I get tired of it.
Believe me, it used to get me down in the dumps because I'm just like, what more could I have put in there? But it doesn't matter what you put in there because they don't read.
Yeah,
period.
yeah, and honestly, your job as a seller is to try to sell your item, right? It's not to try to detour your item. And I know that it sucks to get the returns, but you got to look at returns a little differently, I think, in that you can't get a return without a sale.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not making sales, you ain't getting returns because there's nothing to return.
Right.
So that's why I made a video. I mean, I think it was about 9 months ago, whatever. And I put, I love returns. Well, I really don't love returns, but I love the fact that I have items that can be returned because I've made quite a few sales, right? So I have a bunch of active returns right now. And that's a sign of all the sales that I've made over the last 30 days. And, it's just part of the game. And you have to kind of change your mindset. But I don't know if I would go as far as trying to say that I hate returns so much that I'm going to make it more, I'm going to push people away from my items, right? Because a lot of people read, a lot of people don't. You can't control that. All you can do is do your best, put your best foot forward to make a sale. I'd rather you put read at the end than put, has blemishes or has defects, because eBay, if you're playing by the rules that eBay puts out there, there's no requirement to do so. It's really, you use your condition description box and you use your item description to do that. And if the buyer chooses not to read, maybe they're in a hurry. Maybe this is another thing I think is going on. They are clicking initially on your competitor's item, right? They see it looks, let's say they're clicking on a new item and they see the price, they're scrolling down the listing, and where eBay puts all your competitors' items right before you get to the item description, they see another listing and it has a better price. They click off of that. It's actually maybe an open box or used or refurbished or something that's not quite brand new. And they buy it, and they remember they clicked on the initial one that said it was brand new shrink wrapped, right? And then they get mad and say, hey, well, this wasn't what I read. But your listing's complete. So don't do anything. I wouldn't do anything different, honestly. And I know it's frustrating, but I wouldn't do anything different. You're disclosing it in the right places. I just don't think the title is the right place to put all the flaws or whatever. Maybe read.
I
read
usually
listing.
put read description.
Yeah.
Or
read info.
Or something that's short but makes them hopefully think.
Right, because you're losing all those characters. You only have 80 characters, so every character you use to protect yourself is a character you can't use to sell your item.
Yeah.
And even then, you could put read info, or in your case, like has flaws, and they'll still buy it and want to return it anyway. So you can't win for losing. And then Maya says, I do everything the same way on Poshmark, Mercari, and no issues with buyers there.
Right.
Because it's a different breed of buyer, I think. Yeah. They have 3 days, and generally, you think about eBay. How many returns do you get beyond 3 days? I think a lot of the returns that I get are beyond 3 days on eBay. But that's not even an option after 3 days on, I believe is it 7 on Posh? It's 3 on Mercari.
I don't remember.
But it's a short amount of time. It's a short window. Some people don't even open their package. It's delivered and they don't even check their mail for 3 days.
Yeah.
But then they go on the site and there's not even an option to open a return on those sites. And you know what? How's that your fault if they don't bother to check their mail in 3 days? Yeah. How's it your fault if they don't open their package or try it out when they first get it within 3 days? I think that's the way to go. I wish eBay would go there. Of course, you guys know that it's never going to happen. But as long as people have and And let's be real about it. It's not a return period. 30 days is a warranty. It's a trial period more than a return period. They get to try out your item. They get to use it, try it out, fiddle with it, break it. And then on the 30th day, they can report that you screwed up and it's not them. Yeah. And eBay caters to it. Whereas on those other sites, it's a lot better. And I know a lot of people, well, I'll fix that. I'll just put no returns. There is no blocking an INAD on eBay. You can put no returns all you want. That person can use your item until the 30th day, break it, and waterlog it or whatever, right? And they're going to return it. That's just the bottom line. Let's see. We have Devin's in the house. Did I get it right? Is it Devon? It gets every time. Guide Guru. I'm going to write it on my monitor.
How did you say it when you first originally said it?
I put Devon, and you corrected me and said Devin. So
I was wrong, remember?
Yeah,
we don't have to discuss that
Guide Guru says, I had 2 sales within an hour last week that asked to cancel for found a better price. Yep. Yeah. And again,
shame on eBay for making that a possibility.
I mean, it sucks for us sellers, right? But what are you really doing? Think about what you're doing. Anytime you cause a buyer to have to want to cancel something, you're causing buyer confusion. In no way, in shape or form, is that a low effort buying experience. It's not. There's nothing low effort about that, because now they got to wait for you as a seller to get back. And maybe you're going to say no. It's because it's just a request, and now they're waiting for you to cancel so they can buy this other item, or they're going to risk having 2 of the same item being shipped to them just to save $5. So it's very frustrating to both buyer and seller, which is why I think eBay should really, really consider knocking it off. And maybe their intention is to say, look, they've got this new TV they bought on eBay, and maybe we really just wanted to show them accessories for the TV, which would make absolute sense. But to show the same TV just doesn't make sense to me whatsoever. And maybe they can implement AI to figure that out instead of screwing with our listings by putting AI in the app, the Android app, to really confuse the buyer and upsell the item when it's not that good of an item to begin with. So that's another story altogether. Dre Works is in the house. Says, I work out of a nice indoor storage unit, actually 2, one for product storage and one for operations. And they just fixed the AC, ice cold now, and hot Florida, and much more tolerable. Wow.
Oh, man.
Ice cold. I love ice cold.
I like ice cold.
Yeah. That's wonderful.
Yeah, but you're going to hear me bitching come, October, when it starts to get cold. I'm never happy.
November.
It's never comfortable.
October is when it.
I think October is like the best.
Yeah.
Where it's starting to cool down and you get the cool wind.
Yeah. October, March, and April are like prime months out here in Vegas. Biff says, I'm back at 2022 numbers, just learning to live with what eBay gives me while working on what I can control. Sourcing and pricing, meanwhile, people are quitting eBay. Yeah, and that's all you can control. You can control your sourcing, your pricing. You can control the quality of your listing, all that stuff. And you can control what you sell too. So if what you sold, before was hot and now it's not, my thought is maybe gravitate this. And I continue to say this because this is what we did. Gravitate over to something that is going to sell. Again, we deal with medical stuff. We deal with the stuff that's allowed to be sold on eBay. We deal with, safety aids, toilet aids, all kinds of stuff, right? And I'm going to continue selling that because the sell-through rate is there. And I'm going to make a video kind of going into that a little bit more. Tommy had sent me something with Terapeak, and it's something that I really didn't pay a whole lot of attention to recently because I haven't had to. My sales have been really good. I think you tend to start looking for answers and finding tools like that when you're really struggling for answers. But I know there's a lot of people out there struggling for answers as to how you can get your sales up a little bit. And I think if you're able to see some of the categories that you sell in, and the report in Terapeak will show you what your sell-through rate really looks like, it might make you think twice about continuing to sell the same things
Oh
you're
yeah,
selling.
I can just imagine what it would look like over on Hot Desert
Oh,
Eagles.
it's probably a hot mess field. Guy Guru says, yay, ping, even after purchase, which is ridiculous. I don't know what that's
They're
about.
having a side
I know.
conversation.
Maya says, yeah, I wonder if that's how people are finding my items, because almost all my sales show from promoted ads. Is it all promoted items that they show the buyer? Yes. If you're promoting your listings are going to be shown within other listings, either at the end when they're checking out, and they've already paid for it, and it shows, oh, other buyers have, considered these listings or whatever, or when they're just looking at a listing, and before they scroll down to the item description, that little bar of items that eBay has decided to show our wonderful customers that there's other people selling the same item. And by promoting, there's a chance that you can be in there, right? Also, if your listings qualify for Google Shopping, then you're going to see some external views because you're paying eBay to promote your items. And eBay has to pay Google for those listings to be shown. PTS Treasure says, my traffic dropped 50% over the last 2 days. Called eBay, asked if there is something that I was doing wrong. Agent said multiple times, you're using promoted listings like you should be. Okay, so whenever I boost my promoted rates on an item, I instantly notice more traffic for that item. And when I boost more, when I change that number, let's say in the past I change it from, let's say hovering at 2 to 3%, I change it to 5 or 6%. I immediately noticed an increase in my traffic, both external and organic and everything. My traffic just went up. Now that didn't necessarily mean I was getting sales, but my traffic was going up. And if you're seeing a drop in your traffic, I think that maybe more people now within your category are probably promoting at higher rates than you, and that is leading your listings to be kind of pushed down in the best match search ranking. So, this is the thing. I really want to get the message out to as many sellers as I can that, we all should be drawing a line. I keep talking about it, but collectively as a community, I mean, I think we are as sellers pushing rates up because eBay wants us to think that, these suggested rates are because of sellers that are moving their rates up, and they're tricking people into doing that. And all it's doing is those that are holding their ground are getting lower and lower placement in search because people are getting bigger boosts. So it's competition, guys. I hate to say that things are moving in the wrong direction. It's getting less friendlier for sellers out there. And it's just part of this, what I think eBay is doing to push sellers off the platform. Don't know why they'd want to do that. Maybe they're by pushing smaller sellers off the platform, it benefits the bigger sellers because these buyers are going to buy their item anyway from someone else. And the people that persevere are going to be the ones benefiting from all these buyers, sellers leaving the platform. I don't know if that's their plan in their mind. I don't know what they're thinking, honestly. I don't know why they would want to do something.
Nobody knows what they're thinking.
No advertising.
They don't share anything.
Well, bad advertising. We're not drawing in new buyers, and we're pushing sellers away. What does that do? So you're just killing your site. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Jovial Juggler says, going through my store as well, some listings makes me wonder what the heck I was thinking when I listed them. Let it go.
Yes, let it go.
That is the first part, I think, of it is getting past the denial stage. It's like you see this trinket, right? And you're like, wow, okay, someone sold this on eBay before. I can sell it too. And so you list it, and then you're wondering, well, why did it sell for them and not for me? And so you continue that, and I think at a certain point, you go from hopefulness to now denial. I hope this sells, and then now it's like, well, it's a good item, it's going to sell eventually, and that time never comes. So the time you realize that it's time to let it go, I think, is what's going to be beneficial to you. I mean, I would rather trim down my store, And there's other big channels out there that are talking about trimming down your store that even a year ago said you need to list 50 to 100 items a day, everyday items, right? And now they're changing their tune. I think it's quite comical. But the truth is, you need to be paying attention to sell-through rate. And I really, really do think that there's a huge importance on trying to build that number up. Maybe even more so than building your promoted listing rates up. Biscuit Butt wants to know if Kevin Commonwealth Picker lurking today. I don't know, Archie. After that spoof video that you did on him,
you didn't publicize that.
He did publish it, yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, I don't know if he's gonna lurk anywhere at this point. Dean Funderburk says, "How do I get Flippin' Ain't Easy T-shirt?" Well, you can click the link down below. If I had some to give you, I would, but we actually, I think they give us give us a 20% discount.
And that was only for the first 7 days.
But you could click the link down below. I think it's Spread Shop. Spread Shop, not sure. It's spreadshop.com. There's a link down below to get your Flippin' Ain't Easy merch, but you can get coffee cups, shirts, hats, stickers, like bags for, the yard sales and all that, the big bags that not the IKEA size, but nonetheless, if you want to have like a tote or anything like that, they have all that stuff. And people do order it, believe it or not. It's kind of cool. Waiting to see someone that's sporting one other than Archie, because he'll come over, and Biscuit Bus says, Dean, they're for sale here. Go to this channel, and here is a link. So he's providing it to you. Biff says, 200% sell-through is when 10 are listed and 20 have sold. Okay. How's that possible, though? So if 10 have been listed, how can 20 sell? That's the problem. There's no possible way to have a 200% sell-through rate. 100% means I've sold every one that I've listed. That's 100%. You can't sell more than what you offer, okay? And I think what we're not calculating, let's say 20 items, okay, let's say 10 items show up as currently up for sale, okay? And then you look at the solds, you see 10 items that have sold, okay? Well, you're dealing with 20 items. 10 have sold, 10 have not. That's 20 items over a 90-day period, okay? So I think even that's skewed. So if 10 have sold out of 20, okay, because there was 20, 10 have sold, 10 have not, that's 50%, okay? There's no way you're going to make 200% out of that. Now, if I buy 10 items, and let's say I buy 10 candy bars, if I sell all 10, that's 100%. But, I mean, the only way I can get 200% if I cut them in half and sell them, right? It was just ridiculous. No one's selling half of an item. So there is no way to get 200%. That's why when you're looking at your sell-through rates, go and look at your own sell-through rates. You'll never see any category where you're over 100%. In fact, you're going to see categories that are anywhere between, I'd say, 2% up to 15% for the higher categories. For the really hot categories, you might see upwards to 20%, at least that I've seen. But you're never going to see a number like that. It just isn't possible. And I think there's another channel that was calling people out for thinking that you can go over 100%. You just can't. You can't sell more than you have. It just doesn't make sense. Let's see. Guy Guru says, I used to do 20 a day. I do about 10 these days, being more picky with my sourcing. Mm-hmm. And I like the other channel I was talking about said it's better to list 2 really good items than 20 questionable, may never sell kind of items. And the mindset used to be, and those channels used to preach, that it's about pumping up your numbers, right? I think it's just, you're creating a lot of, the more items you put out in your store, the larger store you create, you're creating yourself a lot more problems. Let's forget about the lower sell-through rates if you're just listing all kinds of stuff. But, keeping track of items that eBay just automatically delists from your store and you don't even know about it, right? think about all the duplicate listings that eBay decides to list on your store, right? The smaller store you have to manage, the easier those things are to manage. If you have 10,000 items in your store as compared to 1,000 items in your store, that's a huge maintenance headache. And I think
well, shoot, the Hot Desert Deals had 600 listings, and like we always say, it's a bunch of crap. And I'd rather, he's like, are you going to list today? I'm like, I don't want to add more crap. I don't want to I don't want a large store. I want all the junk that's not worth my time gone.
Yeah.
Because I would rather put my energy into something that's going to make more money.
Right. Because if you're, let's say you have a 600 item store and you're selling one a day, that's not good.
It's not good.
That's like 1 in 600. That's like a lot of these. I mean, I'm not bragging about that store at all. There's just a lot of junk in that store yeah. where we just need to trim the fat, and it's eBay knows it's a bad store.
I think yesterday I pulled down 30 listings because I went by dollar amount. Anything that was under, I think it was under $10 or whatever. I think it was $10. Anything under $10, gone. And I'm still in the process of doing so. I didn't get to all of it, but I got 2 totes that were taking up a full rack out in the garage for no reason. And those things have been sitting
yeah.
for a long time.
Yeah.
And I'd rather him be able to put the big items in those sections than these totes holding just junk.
Yeah, I picked up 43 items yesterday. I'd say only a handful of them were somewhat small. Most of them are larger, and it's like playing Tetris out there. I have a area where I put my items before I get them listed, sort of a staging area. And I need to expand that. You know, if I want to expand my operations, that's the first thing. And then once it's listed, it's another thing to get those things to find a home for them when they're listed. So,
but the great thing is a lot of those items that he's listing are selling quickly.
Yeah.
And so the turnaround time for those shelves opening up again is very quick. And so that's what I'd rather do with the other store as well. I just think if I can get the other store to a level in which I sell at least a couple items a day, none of this, you know, he asked me this morning, you don't have anything to ship on Hot Desert? And I'm like, no, I had no sales. And so, you know, that's depressing. And so I'd much rather weed out the junk, get rid of it, loosen up the garage a little, have a little bit more wiggle room, and get those other things in there that we can actually make money on, that's worth putting on the shelf for a week or two.
Yeah. And I think No One Design, said in a comment, and they mean well, I totally know they're trying to help, but it's just, you need to get a storage. You know, you can expand your operations by getting a storage unit.
Yeah, but that's more money that you're putting out.
It's more overhead, which, you know, if you're making $14,000, and we're not making $14,000. We had a $14,000 sales month.
Right. But operating, that's not what we bring home.
No, you're operating at a 50% margin. It's half of that. But you can afford a storage unit, and that's not so much the problem. But what we do here is centralized. So it's a matter of me going in the garage, grabbing what I need, listing those items, putting them away, versus getting in my car, 115-degree heat, driving to a hotter storage unit area, pulling stuff out, loading it in my car, driving it here. You're adding a 30 minute to an hour process pretty much every day. So you're changing your operations. So for me, a storage unit's really never been in the question. It's about working within the space that you have to keep the operations as simple and as cost effective as possible. Right. So,
I mean, sure, it would be nice to have, you know, an office or a warehouse, but that's just not feasible as far as time. Mm-hmm. We have everything we need all within, 10 to 15 feet.
Yeah.
And so to be able to put our stuff in storage, which, like John said, just taking it back and forth day to day, that just for us, doesn't make sense. For others that have a better situation as far as managing time and managing, what you're going to do each day, then that would work for somebody else, but it just doesn't work for us.
Right.
Especially in this freaking heat.
Yeah. But we know the bottom line is, I mean, it's not like we're here saying, we're just running out of the room because we're not selling anything.
Yeah,
these things are selling.
The case.
So what I'm saying is it's working right now. We're happy with the way it's set up right now. Mm-hmm. But we're just trying to maybe maximize. I don't think we're maximized at this point. I don't think we're optimal, and it's about
we're not optimizing the space that we have.
Right.
We have done a huge, 180 from December of last year. We've been doing amazing.
Right.
However, that other store, it still needs that, attention, and it needs to have a little more one-on-one time with us, rather than it sitting there and just getting stale listings and stale inventory. I just much rather pull that stuff out, put it out for a garage sale or something,
or lot it up. You can lot it up.
Well, that's what I was going to do, is lot up a lot of it and just sell it on Facebook Marketplace. Get rid of it another way. I may not be making a whole lot of money, but that's fine.
You're behind now. So you're doing all the talking. I was letting you know you're behind on the chat.
Are you making fun of me?
Yeah, I kind of am. But it's all right. Rain says, hello from Michigan.
Hi, Rain.
Thanks for being here, Rain. Christina, it's not Friday, but thank you. We'll have a happy Friday tomorrow.
It's okay.
I hit the like button.
We confused her. We did that to her.
She sold a Hotel Collection Fresco King comforter for $200.
Ooh.
Oh, that's
nice.
good.
That's a good sale.
Let's see. Roman says, Archie made the best YouTube of all time, hands down. After his video, we can't say my real name anymore. Hello, everyone. Oh, gee. Rain says, does anyone know what happens if you don't revise your first class listing to ground or ground advantage? Between now and I think it's 30 days, so the 8th or 9th of August, they're going to accept those labels that have first class. But after that, they're probably going to do a return to sender for you. So get your listings fixed, so when you make those sales, you're running the proper label. And even if you're currently running let's say you're advertising first class, when you're running the label, you need to make sure you are using ground advantage as the method that is replacing first class. Glenda Bavona says, I bought item on Mercari and the seller tried to scam me. Pleasantly surprised when Mercari stepped up and handled the issue quickly and efficiently. Yeah, they are pretty good. They are very good at handling situations. Let's say the only thing I have a problem with is just the way they allow your buyer to leave like a negative feedback, and you can't really respond to it. It'll say buyer blocked you from responding. It's like I have one negative on Mercari where someone bought a mat set from me. It's a bathroom mat set, one of those memory foam mat sets. And this lady, she was like trying to get a deal, so trying to offer me, I think I had it for sale for $20 plus the shipping, the calculated shipping through Mercari. And she wanted to give me like $10 for it. I said, no, I'll meet you halfway. I said, that's the best I can do. And then she finally came around, and before that, she said, was there a way you can make the shipping lower? Because that's the problem I'm having, is the shipping's too high. I said, well, it's based on the size of the package and the weight and your location. I said, it's a calculated method. I can't do anything about that. I said, that's just what it is. And she said, can you send it media mail? No, I can't send it media mail. No. And so she eventually, after about a week, she ended up buying it. I gave it to her for $15, and she then received it and left me a negative and said, something to the effect of seller doesn't know what they're doing. Shipping was too high. I offered alternatives, but they refused and blocked me, so I couldn't respond.
Because he's honest and
Yeah.
stands for something.
I didn't know what I was talking about.
Yeah, he didn't know what he was doing.
Yeah. I mean, it wouldn't be obvious. You're sending a big package, and it's not
right.
Big bulky package. What do they think are in there? CDs? It's just like, okay, come on.
Bunch of DVDs.
We just read that one. Polish Minecraft says, if I may ask, do you guys have the same financial info on both accounts? Thinking of starting a new account to experiment. It's under my name. You can start up multiple accounts. You don't have to have one account under your name and the other account under a spouse's name.
Right.
It's all kind of linked together. So you're basically going to get a 1099 on both accounts, even if the other account doesn't do, let's say one account does 300, the other account does 400, right? You're going to meet the threshold for over 600, and you're going to get something. So they're linked. They're linked. And that's why if you get one account all screwed up, it's going to follow you over. Let's say you get suspended or whatever. It's going to follow you over to the other account. What's funny is I never really noticed when we were suspended for that one day how it affected the other account. I don't recall.
I don't even remember.
But
I think we were so concerned with your account that we didn't even pay any mind to the other one.
I mean, the other account wasn't suspended, but I don't remember killing it with sales either.
No.
But when was the last time we killed it with sales?
I don't think we've ever killed it with sales.
Yeah, it's definitely two different accounts.
That horse store has had, experiment after experiment. It's had junk listed after more junk. It's like the I hate to say it, but the redheaded stepchild. Is that what?
It's pretty bad.
It's pretty sad.
Susie, Florida says hello from Fort Lauderdale. Well, awesome. Thanks for being here. Biff says, I ended all promoted listings last night. Didn't help my niche. Didn't think it would. I sell one-of-a-kind items to unicorns. And for that reason, you should never promote. You're saving yourself money by not promoting. If someone's looking for a certain item, and let's say there's two of you selling it, you're going to get the same placement. If they're doing a search for this random vase, right, or whatever, I'm just guessing. I don't know what you sell. And it's a certain brand, a certain kind, a certain size, a certain whatever. If they type in if they know what they're looking for, they're going to find it. And you're probably going to get the same placement in the search without the promoted. It isn't like you're competing with a bunch of iPhones or anything like that. Susan K says, hi from Arkansas. Thanks for being here, Susan. Devon says sellers are dropping like flies.
And that's fine. That's more buyers for us.
It's more buyers for the sellers that persevere. I'm good with that. But the problem is buyers are also dropping like flies. Mm-hmm. Stephen Thompson says, hello from Henderson. Really enjoy watching and learning. Well, thanks, Stephen, for being here. That's awesome. You're on the monsoon side of town where you guys got hit with all that rain. It was pretty nasty.
Wish it would have come up here. We got a couple of raindrops on Friday when we were on Monday. On Monday when we were on the live, we got a few drops.
A rural squirrel says, hey gang, thanks for saving me from working. You did okay. You know what? The biggest distraction to resellers, I think, is YouTube. I think it is. It happens to all of us. Guide Guru says there needs to be less sellers, honestly. Just bought something on eBay and sent the wrong item. LOL. Mm-hmm. But they say sellers are a dime a dozen. You get rid of one, another one pops up.
I was going to say, as many of them are falling away from eBay, there's going to be that many more that are going to come in and try this business and see how they do.
Sweet Peas Addict says, question, when you aren't selling or sharing your knowledge with us via content, what do you both do for fun together alone? We can't talk about that on this. Not just joking. We go to movies. We go. We like to go eat at places. Maybe we'll find places. All kinds in Vegas of places to eat. So like these places pop up on like Instagram, and it's like, ooh, I haven't heard of that place before. So We like to do
We
that.
like to go to Mount Charleston. We haven't been up there in a while, but it's like it was 115 out here this last weekend, and up in Mount Charleston, it was only 75 degrees.
Yeah.
So I think
it's like a 20-degree difference between.
It's like a whole different reality.
Yeah.
But we like to do that. We like to watch movies. We like to cook. Well, he likes to cook. Yeah. I like to shop.
Believe me, we
and
keep
it's
ourselves
not on eBay.
We keep ourselves busy. But yeah, I and then I'll go golfing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So there's all kinds of things that we do. Ruben Almanza says, hey, they have a eBay motor app. Do they have an eBay Motors app?
Are you serious?
It's not the same as, I'm sure it's the same app though, really. Like to think it is, but I've never heard of that. Maya says, anyone else miss when eBay used to put out coupons you could use on any item? I used to buy so much stuff for my hobby. That was like the eBay bucks or whatever that was, right?
They do have their own app.
Huh. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Which is sad, I think. I mean, were they going to have an app for watches, for sneakers?
Well, how long? I'm sure that's not new. I'm sure it's been around.
Yeah. Let's see what else we got here. Looking at some sidebarness. Let's see. Kelly says, Kelly from Prior Lake, Minnesota, had a couple of returns last 2 weeks. Buyers filed fake INADs. So frustrating. Report buyers. But we are still stuck paying the return shipping. Yeah. And from what they told me, some reps don't even know that, and according to the policy, it's still written that you can qualify for a $6 return label credit when it's found that the buyer opened a false INAD. But you can't qualify for that unless you report the buyer. And I mean, I think $6 is kind of an insult when you're dealing with a $20 or $30 return label, but I guess that's what eBay's determined. I think in the last 2 years, I've only received one $6 credit. And a lot of reps, when you talk to them, I'm talking US reps, are like, that's not even a thing. Well, your policy says it's a thing. So report your buyers, guys. Don't be afraid to take a few minutes, report the buyer if something shady is going on, like making you pay for a label that they should have paid for. But now if you're dealing with free returns, then you shouldn't be reporting anyone. They can say, look, I woke up today and I just didn't like the item, and that's a remorse return, and you're on the hook for the return. So that's not something you would report a buyer for. It's only for those who are have it set up to where buyer pays for returns and the buyer is misusing the returns. Guy Guru says, I actually had a couple of returns this month where the buyer never shipped it back. I love it when that happens. Yeah. I had one where I had a return where the buyer bought the wrong pump for their pool. It was like a 1 horsepower pump, and they said, I think we needed 2. This is after we shipped it out. And they said, okay, I'll just open a return. And they opened a return. They paid for the label. And I don't know what happened, but I waited. And like the day before it was supposed to expire, I get this message from eBay saying the return was closed in my favor, immediately followed by a message from the buyer saying, I don't know what's going on here. I shipped it out and it came back as returned to sender. Well, there's no tracking information. I don't know what they did. They used their own label. I don't know. But I said, at this point, the return's closed out. So you're going to have to call eBay to figure this thing out. And, it's just one of those things where, he said, oh, well, thanks. There's nothing I can do according to eBay. And it is what it is. I'm getting kind of concerned here.
I'm checking.
Okay. Did you put the stuff out?
No.
Okay. Our FedEx guy hasn't come yet. Biscuit Butt says, Kelly, you can contact eBay. They'll give you a $6 credit. Every bit helps. Dan says, the issue is still the search engine glitches and exposure of listings. I increased promotion of items I sold plenty of last year from 2.2 to 5.2 and nothing. It could be you can promote really higher if you want, but if the demand isn't there, let's say those items, are they selling for other people and not for you? Have you checked the sold comps? It may be that that particular type of item just isn't selling. And I think that's part of the summer slowdown. Certain things just don't sell well during the summer. So might be something to look into. Do your homework on your competition and see if those items are selling for other people. And then if they are selling for other people, what are they doing differently than you are? You'll never know if they're promoting at a higher rate, but you can certainly look at their listing to see if they're adding more photos, better photos, what kind of photos, how their titles look, how are their prices, because you might be priced too high. These are all things you need to look at to, I think we have to be private investigators sometimes when we're dealing with our listings. It's not enough to list, move on, list, move on. You have to do some really deep investigations sometimes when you're dealing with slower moving items to find out why these items aren't selling. There's an answer there. You just have to look for it. Kid Wilson says, ground advantage is slow. If you're on same coast, it seems to go faster, but from west to east, you might as well spend the extra for priority. Yes, I agree. It is slow. It's just like dealing with first class. But the good thing is if you have it set to where in the listing, ground advantage is the way you're shipping it, eBay should have it reflected that within the range of dates the buyer is going to get it. Because the buyer really can't complain about slow delivery unless it's past the range that eBay gives the buyer. Then they can think it's that buyer guarantee or whatever it is. They can call eBay and complain. But love messages from buyers. Well, they're going to have to wait. Let's see. Susie says, not fair to rub it in that you only speak to U.S. reps. Not trying to, but at the same time, I think it's important to understand that there is a difference between dealing with the U.S. rep and a rep from overseas, because you're not going to get the answers that you're looking for. This guy, this buyer, he's having an issue. I sold a motorcycle. It's called a sissy seat or sissy bar.
Sissy bar.
And it's the back seat. And I said, okay, he said something's wrong with the bracket. I'm like, okay, well, this is the bracket that it came with. There's 2 brackets that attach to the motorcycle. And I said, okay, if there's a problem with it, just open a return. I'll take it back, because I don't have a motorcycle to test this thing on or to install it on. So I don't know. Maybe you're doing it wrong. Maybe you're not, but just send it back. So this guy wants to be my best friend now. He keeps sending me messages all day long. It's like my last answer was just open a return. I'll be glad to give you a full refund. And this guy wants to send me photos of the item. And, it's like, please stop. Sometimes you want to block your existing buyers, I tell you. Let's see. Guide Guru says, I got a priority package of somewhat large value that I dropped off Tuesday morning. It's still in the distribution hub. And that's a priority, right? Just know this, guys. FedEx and USPS, they're starting to get more volume. People are migrating their UPS packages over to either Ground Advantage on the USPS side or FedEx Ground /Home. And that might be why people are late today coming to pick up our packages.
Our FedEx came, but not USPS. But she didn't come yesterday.
Oh, so FedEx came today?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, USPS.
Remember, I got up right when we
No,
started.
but I thought that was the mail lady. So we're going to probably have to make a trip to the post office here before the hour's up. So that's not fun. But nonetheless, that's another problem to deal with. But I can tell you that as more packages get into the system, the slower I think some of these packages are going to take to arrive. Yeah. So don't be surprised at that.
On different forums, we've already heard that it's already starting. And even our FedEx guy said.
1 Foot Flipper says, hello, everyone. Thanks for being here. Maya says, I haven't noticed any delays on my Ground Advantage. If UPS strikes, I guess that'll expect some delays. And let's hope if there are delays from UPS, actually from USPS Ground Advantage or FedEx, that eBay does the sellers a solid to, I would hope they'd get out in front of it and say, look, we're going to expand the window of delivery like a couple days for all services so that the buyer doesn't, who doesn't care. Look, if you advertise it's supposed to be here by the 10th and it comes here on the 12th, they're still going to be mad. So hopefully they do that for us. And if you're still using UPS, guys, anything beyond tomorrow, don't chance it. Don't put your items out on UPS beyond this week, because the last thing you want is to have your items stuck somewhere.
Yeah.
And
save yourself some headache and just handle it beforehand.
Jovio said, been a while since I asked eBay to call back, but last 2 times were Americano callbacks. Shocked. Yeah. That's actually a good
it has
thing, right?
nothing to do with anything other than we need to, when we have a problem, when we call eBay, it's because we have a true problem. And unfortunately, the overseas reps are running off of a script and they don't know what we're talking about. They're not familiar. They are looking up what they think is the best answer, and that's it. And they're reading off of a script.
Mm-hmm.
And I can tell you right now, that's not how you treat eBay sellers. You can't. Every situation is unique, and they need a unique resolution.
Well, the worst thing is you put these specialty departments like the trust and safety. The worst thing is you get a U.S. rep. Okay, you're thinking, okay, great, I got a U.S. rep, and they're like, well, we got to transfer you to the proper department that handles this, and then you get that over-the-top friendly person that you know is not going to be able to help you. It's like they train them to be super friendly, and they're just super ignorant. I think that's the right. That sounds kind of.
No, I don't
know. No, a lot of times they are. They will guess to get you off the phone.
Well, right. They will.
Ignorant is not a bad term. I think it's taken that way. Ignorant is simply not knowing information on a certain subject, right?
Right.
It's comes off as a negative connotation. But when you call eBay and they can't give you a basic answer, or they give you something to get you off the phone that's not even close to what you're asking,
or they just talk in circles, and you're like, no, that's not even close to what I just explained to you.
Yeah. Dan says, my latest INAD was, it smells, took one back to make it go away. The other, I just said, not sure what you're asking me to do, and they let it drop, since it seems most want a $5 refund, or it could be someone that's fishing for some partial refunds. That's why this guy keeps sending me messages. I'm like, just open a return. It seems like he's fishing by continuing the conversation, but no, open the return. Guide Guru says, when your offers slow down, that is a clear sign to me that my store needs to be refreshed. Yeah. Don't sleep on the end item sell similar process, guys.
It works.
I do it every Thursday. I do it every Thursday, and today's Thursday. I haven't done it, and I haven't gotten much at all, even though I've listed over $500 some odd dollars in merchandise today. Mike says, hi, John and Jenna, doing good. Should be in Las Vegas, 9/19 with Archie. Don't want to spend some time. Can't wait.
Wow, you're just adding words.
Well, can't want to spend time with a great guy.
Wait.
That says want.
I know.
Right.
But you're adding other words in there.
I'm just reading what he put. Can't want. I don't think he mistyped. I think it's right. Just giving you a hard time, Archie. Dan says, every time I send offers, no one takes it, and it sells at full price to someone else.
That's what happens on Hot Desert.
But that's been a thing for the longest time. If you send offers to watchers, it gives the item a boost, and you are going to get organic sales at the full price. I've had that happen many times.
Yeah.
You think, oh, I sent this offer on this item. Cool, someone took the deal. And then you look and see this person paid full price. It's not the person I sent the offer to.
Yeah. It happens on Hot Desert all the time.
Nick Picker's in the house. I got my eBay tumbler in the mail the other day. Thanks so much. Awesome.
Awesome.
Glad that you got it. Very, very cool.
Now keep hydrated.
Kid Wilson said the term "please read" works for me.
Yeah.
In the listing.
Yeah, that's what I put that sometimes too.
Kid Wilson also says, props to eBay for the 24 photos, makes selling used items or things with lots of labels. Example, measurements for clothes, helps return since we can add so many photos. So also utilizing video when, not for every listing, that's just a waste of time. But when you're selling a $380 set of golf clubs, and, I think the video gives you a little bit, you could take a 20-second video, show like all of them together and the angles, this, that, other thing. I really think it does help the buyer really see what your photos, because it almost comes off sometimes. You can take a photo of what you want the buyer to see, angles and stuff, whereas video covers all of it. So that's why I like using videos for certain, but they have to be pretty good ticket items. A $20 item is not worth it. Because I sent so, says I have sent offers and never gotten a sale back. Sometimes I wonder if a buyer sees you're offering at a cheaper price, they think you're desperate enough to make the price even lower. I think it's the people that send you offers that think that, right? They send an offer and they don't want to budge, and when they do, it's like at a $1 increment. You know, it's like, okay, I don't got time for that. PTS says, had a buyer message at 6:30 a.m. Said she was unhappy with the product delivered over 5 weeks ago, refunded as it was nail polish, didn't feel it was worth the fight. But if you have 30-day returns, that, you know, they have plenty of time to ask for a refund.
Yeah, especially for nail polish. I mean, if it's nail polish that I just bought, I'm going to know within the next 2 days.
Guy Brewer says, I do 60-day returns, but I rarely get a return that is past 30 days because I think most buyers are conditioned to 30 days. It's not a move I've yet made, but I think you do get a little bit better. It helps your store overall. We talk about the little things you can do. I mean, that ain't going to like make or break your sales, but it's every little thing you do that, like free returns, 60-day returns, free shipping. I don't advocate any one of those things, but it's something you can consider doing where collectively these things might help. But at the end of the day, I'm not into free returns. I'm not into free shipping, and I'm not into giving them 60 days. And things are selling really well. So you got to maybe try different things. Your situation might be like Guide Guru's, whereas mine, it wouldn't work for me. Mr. Magic says, control the metrics. Yes. And by just allowing your items to rot and never going back and looking at them again. I think a lot of times we wonder, why isn't my stuff selling? And the item's been sitting there and the market may have changed for that item. And we're oblivious to it because all we're focused on is the next item to list. Yeah. 1 Foot Flipper says, eBay can't even figure out to stop suggesting I buy the items that I sold similar of. Yeah. Yes. And then also he says, you want other sellers to quit. The system still needs to shake out a ton of sellers from the bottom, from the boom in new sellers during COVID. Yeah. I mean, it's just one of those things where you certainly want sellers to quit. It doesn't hurt us, the serious sellers, when smaller sellers quit. I'm just more concerned about the exodus from the buyer off the site. That's definitely not good. And I think it's eBay is at fault because they just do a poor job in making other people aware that they're here. You know, Guy Guru says, it was weird that they were both different items from different customers, literally an hour from each other. Was wondering if someone was messing with me. I guess something happened. Rosie's in the house. Hi, John and Jenna. Rosie. Hope life is treating you both well this week. Keep up the great work.
Hi, Rosie.
Thanks, Rosie.
Meg's here.
Catch up a little bit.
Meg's here.
Oh, Meg, Lilac Seller. Thanks for being here.
NPC. What's NPC?
Lenny K says brand new NBA 2K23 Xbox Series X with 6%, and the price is $24.99. I don't know if you're selling that.
No. That's what he's saying.
Oh, listing an Xbox game right now, and the suggested rate is 16%.
That's insane.
That's not good. Yeah, but
tell him to go.
But you know, it's just one of those things. eBay is going to continue to try to trick sellers into upping their promoted rates. And I am trying to catch up a little bit here. Guy Guru says, I bought a Wii from the thrift a couple years ago that popped out Wii Sports Resort, Wii Sports Dual Disc. Yeah, that's a bonus, right? Because I said so says, does anyone know if eBay charges for posting a video instead of just photos? No, they don't charge for that. You can list or post the video up to, I think, well, if you're doing a 1080p, it's like 45 seconds. If it's 4K, it's going to be like more like 20 to 30 seconds. I think it's 150 megabytes. I think when I first tried to upload the video, I was like really just barely over it. So I just went in and edited the video, cut off like the last 5 seconds, and it took. The Thrifty Loon says, happy to be here. Well, we're happy to have you here. We have 165 people watching right now.
I haven't seen the Thrifty Loon in a while.
Yeah. So thanks for being here. But hit that like button, guys. Get your sale. If you hit the like button within the next 24 hours, you're going to get a sale. Don't know how it works, but it works. A lot of people are hitting the like button and getting the sale. Right. Mr. Me says listing and amount of items is different.
Listings and amount of items is
not sure what you're referring to on that.
I think it's missing a word.
Well, you can have as many items as you want in your store, but if, like for instance, I can list 5 to 10 items a day, and I'm going to sell. The way my main store works is I'm selling 5 to 10 items a day. My 250 item store is actually shrinking down to like less than 220, and I'm not going to panic over that. In fact, I'm going to show you guys a video, not today, but here pretty soon, of a store I'm going to review that has less than 100 listings. I think it's like 30 or 40 listings, and they've sold like I think 600 or 700 items in the last 90. That's outstanding. That is like where I think the where you want to be. That's ideal, right?
That's my kind of store.
But I made a note because I'm always looking at stores. I'm always doing some side work to see what is my competition doing. So if I have an item, I'm doing research on it, I see another listing, and I see that listing like intrigues me, I'll go on and look at their store and kind of investigate. How are they selling? What kind of items are they selling? It gives me ideas as to like where I'm at, what I need to be doing differently. And I think if more people did that, there'd be a lot of you would have more success. I urge you guys to take the time to do that. Let's see. I'm really trying to catch up here, but Guide Guru says sometimes my videos hang as well. When I get stuck on 5%, it usually happens when I drag and drop photos and videos at the same time. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that drives me crazy. You're trying to list, and maybe you have 20 photos to put into a listing, and that last photo, it just spins, right? It's like you have to go in and you have to start over again. Yeah, that's not fun. Mm-hmm. John Gaynor says, hi, Jen and John. Working from home, that looks like a warehouse gets you guessed a look of wow. And then I say, welcome to eBay. Inventory control is a must. And I see you getting there. Yeah. It's just time to trim the fat. And I think sometimes we think, well, if I get rid of these items in my store, then I'll get less sales. But you're not getting any sales anyway. So
I mean, the walkway in the garage, we need a clear walkway. And right now it's, you kind of have to squeeze in parts of it. And no, I don't want to do that. When I'm doing shipping and I'm trying to step over boxes or watch my head because there's a bed rail that's sticking off the fourth rack up, because I'm short, I will bump my head, it just needs to be changed. Yeah. Things need to be a lot more safe because, we used to work in a very high safety environment, and now we are not. Anything that we were taught many years ago, I'm always thinking we threw that out the window. Well, he did anyway, because he's a messy guy, guys.
I can be that way.
He's messy.
Yeah, you can see my office here is kind of messy anyway.
Right now, it's not. But more than likely, you come in here and next week it's going to be a mess.
We have Wanda Greer in the house. Thanks for being here, Wanda. Hi. We had a tornado here yesterday. I'd rather be in the desert. Want to trade?
No, but tornadoes have no warnings.
But me, like someone would say tornado, and I would be like, where? And I'd take my phone and I'd go out and try to record it. Right?
He's that dumb.
I'm that just weird like that. I like
because
weather.
we don't live or never have lived where there are tornadoes. So to see it would be cool. However, I wouldn't be that curious. But no, the desert it's really hot or it's really cold. And I mean, of course we chose to live here, but I can still complain about it.
Wanda says eBucks is different. Okay, talking about the coupon that eBay used to offer, you would get bonus bucks to redeem later in the other items. The coupon program is when eBay would randomly send sellers or buyers coupons, which is like the sellers send to buyers now. So yeah, I think I know what you're talking about, but eBay is not looking, because that money comes from someone. Okay, so if you sell, so let's say you have $100 item, and eBay is offering like a 20% off coupon in the past, right? Well, the buyer's paying $80 for that item, but you're still going to get your $100 minus fees. That money comes from someone, and it's from eBay. And of course, they're more interested in taking money than to helping us out. Their mindset has changed a lot when it comes to that.
It's a little broken.
Let's see if I can get to some new folks. I don't think I see, but we have Ping G says, in 23 years of selling, I've only called eBay twice, and that is with the concierge service that I have. Yeah, I think that's just the antivirus thing popped up. It's one of those things where I kind of kicked myself in the butt for years for not paying the $500 to go to eBay Open or whatever it was the last time they're out in Vegas, because that came with the concierge that people still have today. Kyle Havelka says, anyone else getting the heart icon in the bottom right of chat keeps blocking edge of messages?
Yeah, it's there, and
Really?
it's super, super annoying. And if you click it, it opens up a whole thing of other different icons, and it's so, so annoying. I wish it needs to be at the top of the page rather than the bottom. It's really annoying.
Jerry says, I just made a sale. Yes, the like button works.
Woo-hoo,
so hit that like button, guys.
yeah.
There's 158 watching. Rosie Game says, Jenna, love your shirt. John, you need to get yourself a shirt like that.
Thank you.
Yeah, land of the free because of the brave. Yeah,
that's right. That's right.
But I don't think I'd look good in a woman's shirt, so I'm not going to get one
not
just
quite
like that.
like fitted like this, but yes.
The Variety Flipper, when I get a return request, it seems like my sales die, even though the request is auto-approved. It sucks. They give the buyer a couple of weeks to return because they sit on the item for a while. Yeah, it's just like, they tell you, you've got like, 2 or 3 days to approve the return, but the buyer, take your time.
Yeah, we'll get it when we get it.
Yeah, just take your time. Andy says, I had an item recommended 16.9. Not sure what that is.
He had an
item
69.
Okay,
listed.
I didn't see a percentage sign. So 16.9%. Okay. Roaming with Rover. I have not opened my store yet.
Oh my gosh, look at that dog. So cute.
I've not opened my store yet. Gathering things around the house. What is best to start with?
Everything around the house.
Look, well, one thing is, you're gonna find stuff that you're like, this is not worth anything, and then you'll pull it up, do a search on it as if you're a buyer, and see what it's sold for. Now, when you pull up the results, you're gonna see just a bunch of things that people are trying to sell. You see a little, if you're on the PC, you'll see a little column down the left side. Click on sold items, and you'll see the amounts on each listing turn to green. And that means that that's what the item sold for. So they'll give you an idea, but that's what you want to do. Just get the stuff you're trying to move, get like a pile of stuff, right? And then just go through it and see what those things have been selling for. It's good practice, because once you start going out and buying stuff, you're going to need to learn those techniques to, get sold comps and stuff. We have Ryan Lab says, listing bug, ended items are still showing in my active items. So that's no good. But the problem with a lot of these bugs, it's not happening to everyone. It's happening sporadically. And that's the first I've heard of that one happening this week. So hopefully it's just an isolated thing. But certainly, like we said before, report these bugs as they happen. Biff says, I always look at my competition in my niche. I wish eBay would name the top sellers in the LQR. I don't know what LQR is.
It's probably.
Yeah. Jason, I don't know if that's Sailor. I was a casual seller and bought nearly as much as I sold, but with the new system, it's not worth it for casual sellers. Now I only go to eBay when it's my last option because it's not convenient.
Yeah, I agree. I think you're better off with Mercari, Poshmark, all the other ones, rather than when you're a casual reseller.
Thrifty Loon says, thanks for having me. No, thanks for being
that's
here.
Ashley. She said it's Ashley VL, remember?
Okay.
In the other Normally her name comes up as Ashley DL, but that's
it.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for being here, though. Wanda Greer says, look up
I didn't know you had two.
Look up Rocky Mountain Tornado. It hits the Pfizer plant and destroyed 50 pallets of meds.
I saw that.
And hit the watermelon plant, too, 15 minutes from my house. Wow.
Oh, man.
Wow, that's horrible.
That's terrible. 15 minutes away? I mean, you must have been able to see it. I hope you have a shelter.
Roaming with Rover says, when it says bid items, but there is no price, are those just hidden? There's no price.
Because it's a bid. They only bid it up to that amount. There should be a price.
Should always be a price.
Yeah.
But a starting price, and even with no bids, like 99 cents or whatever, right? Yeah. Devon says, I source a lot of Mercari good deals better than Posh.
Yeah.
You get a lot of good deals on Mercari. That's why I've always thought it's more of a yard sale. It's like between the time you list your item on eBay and the time you actually list your stuff in a yard sale, there's Mercari. You get, it's kind of the step to giving up on that item, right?
Yeah. So, and it's, good for those who live out in the boonies and don't have a good sourcing place to go.
Yeah.
Maybe it's, 2 hours away from you. Go to Mercari. I mean, Mercari, just like she said, you can get good deals there.
Yeah, I would tell you this, guys, and I wouldn't sleep on Mercari. A lot of people are reporting a lot of good success with Mercari. We've been
sleeping on Mercari.
We have been, and I wouldn't sleep on them. I would start cross-posting. Don't give up on eBay altogether, but start cross-posting onto these other sites. Of course, you can click the link down below. We use Prime Lister. This is a plug for them, but you can use really any company. But we use Prime Lister, and you can go and move your items, and not even move. You're just basically copying your listing onto other sites, and you're getting your listing out in front of other people who wouldn't even consider eBay. So there's a link down below. If you want to do 14 days, 100 listings with no credit card, you can give that a shot.
Biff says Mercari is a halfway house. That's exactly
right. It's the last step before you just give up on the item altogether, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, look, I would rather sell it for the item's a dead item sitting in your eBay store. You're into it for $2. You're trying to get 20. You can get someone to give you 8 on Mercari plus shipping. Then I'd do it, right? Get rid of the bad buy and just kind of move on. That's my thought process behind that. Devon says, I bought a $250 Chloe bag for $25
wow.
for it. It's a real deal. I don't know Chloe from Kim. So
he is not joking.
I don't. So
but I do. I know the Chloe bag.
So is that a Kardashian thing? No. Okay. Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't know Chloe.
It's a
from
Chloe
Kim.
bag.
So Maya says, I think Mercari is great if you had light items because their 4 ounce and 8 ounce labels are really reasonable priced. Yeah. Mm-hmm. See, anytime. Roman says, my PTS, my time is very slow in that regard. It's mostly in and out. Is that like In-N-Out Burger or what? I don't know.
He doesn't have In-N-Out Burger where he is, I don't think. She's high-end
Chloe
bag.
is a high-end bag. I'm surprised it's not a Kardashian thing.
I
don't know. So, guys, here's the deal. We're like,
we're
like at hour and 48 minutes in, and I can tell you that our mail carrier has totally forgot about us for the second day in a row. So that means we're going to have to make another trip out to the post office. It's only like 2 miles away, but nonetheless, even if you have to step outside to just check the mail in this heat, it's just oppressive.
It's exhausting.
And I'm not looking forward to that. Hopefully I can get a volunteer. But in the meantime, I want to thank you guys for being here. Certainly we'll do this again on Friday, not Thursday. For those of you who changed your schedule around to be with us today on Thursday, thank you for being here. Yes. If you haven't done so already, hit the like button on the way out. Get your sale. It'll happen in the next 24 hours. And look for I'm going to try to make some content over the weekend, even though we're going to be gone. So that's going to be a fun thing. But look for that. But you know what, guys? Right now is the time to start making adjustments to your store, whether it's cross-posting or just managing your own your old listings. But trying to figure all that out, and being a private investigator to figure out what the problem is yet another example of how flipping ain't easy. And I want you guys again to have a great weekend, and we will talk to each and every one of you hopefully very soon.
We'll talk to you on Monday.
Take care.